welcome our blood viewers to our RTD's News English edition. We head for the headlights and the top major titles of tonight. Provisional acceptance of construction and equipment work for a mini drinking water supply system. And for the international scene, the Security Council condemns the Israeli attack on Qatar and reaffirms its support for its sovereignty. Those were our major and top headlines. Welcome back to our newsroom, our blood viewers. As part of the program of strengthening drought resistance, food and natural insecurity, the Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock and Fishery Resources, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, accompanied by his main collaborators, including the General Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Ibrahim Ilmi Mohammed, carried out the provisional reception of the construction and equipment works of the mini drinking water supply system in the locality of Holhol, located in the Ali Sibih region. This crucial infrastructure aims to sustainably improve access to drinking water and support agro-pastoral activities in this area, which is particularly vulnerable to the effects of climate change and prolonged droughts. Upon his arrival in Holhol, the minister was warmly welcomed by the Deputy Prefect of the locality, Mr. Mustafa Hassan Wabiri, as well as the Deputy Director of the Ministry, Mr. Mahdi Ali Roble, the Holhol Police Chief, and the Colonel of the Al-Hajj Hassan Gulait School Army of Holhol. The work carried out under this project include in particular the construction of a micro dam for rainwater retention and groundwater recharge, the drilling of a 7-meter deep well with a diameter of 2.5 meters, the equipment of commissioning of a drinking water distribution system adapted to the needs of agro-pastoral populations. This initiative is part of the broader strategy to strengthen the water and food resilience of rural communities, particularly those living in arid or semi-arid regions such as Ali Sibih. At the end of the visit, the minister held a meeting with the inhabitants of Holhol, including the Ukals and traditional chiefs, as well as women leaders at the sub-locality office. This participatory approach aims to involve local communities in the sustainable management of natural resources and to ensure the sustainability of the infrastructure put in place. The whole project marks an important step in this implementation of the program, supported by several technical and financial partners, and demonstrates the government's determination to take concrete action to address the challenges linked to drought, food security, and access to water. The country has just changed its rhythm. The cacophony of cars and traffic jams, parents with children heading to school, for yes, it's back to school season, and everything surrounding it has been set in motion. After the summer full lull comes the political comeback, with the government takes back the floor, lays out a roadmap, and restores the nation's sense of a collective direction. In other words, it is the equivalent of raising the curtain on the national stage. The political comeback does not create the scenery, but it reveals the actors, announces the plot, and offers the audience a preview of the trials and hopes to come. Because the political comeback is not just a formality, it condenses in a few hours the power dynamics of an entire year, whether it be the hierarchy of priorities, climate crisis, social urgency, regional challenge, diplomatic ambitions, or the tone of leadership, conciliation or firmness, optimism of gravity. It is also the signal sent to external partners, investors, international institutions, and allies. All scrutinize this speeches to understand where the nation is headed. So, if we grasp it well, this political time, it does not merely mark the resumption of state affairs. It signifies that history resumes its course, that power once again begins to write on the fragile parchment of the present. And if you go further, the political comeback is a crossroads where three temporalities met. The past invoked to recall the trials endured and the country's achievement to be preserved. The present, where social and climate urgency press the government to act. The future, which must be sketched as a critical promise through a never a certainty. Thus, each political comeback is a mediation on time. It reveals that the government is less about dominating the moment than weaving together memory and horizon. This is how this year's political comeback took shape. But the most striking moment was the presidential address, which set the tone and direction. The speech delivered by the head of state fell within this tradition, but with a particular intensity. It affirmed the ambition of a nation confident in its vocation and determined to embrace the unfolding of history. The political comeback marked a clear pivot toward toward Africa. By assuming the chairmanship of the African Union Commission, Djibouti no longer wishes to remain a spectator but become a conscience for a continent. The president's speech stood out for its unusual clarity, notably on Palestine, where Djibouti positioned itself as a steadfast defender of the oppressed. At the heart of the address, Vision 2035 was reaffirmed as the strategic foundation. Modernization, digitalization, and diversification were presented not as slogans but as concrete projects already underway. Youth, described the living force and national treasure, was placed at the center of this ambition, with an emphasis on training, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Finally, the climate question was framed as a challenge to be transferred into an opportunity through policies of resilience and adaptation. In short, the speech was far from merely a formality. It conveyed a clear determination to make Djibouti a continental actor, faithful to its convictions, oriented towards the future, and resolute in transforming its dreams into destiny. As part of the monitoring of sports infrastructure projects, the Secretary of State for Sports, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamel, carried out a field visit to the Obakh region, specifically for Khor Angar, to assess the progress of the sports platform under construction. Accompanied by several senior officials, the Secretary of State was welcomed by the Djibouti Prefect, Mr. Mohammed Ali Umar, the President of the Regional Council, Fatoum Muhammad, as well as the notables and executives of the Obakh region. The notable initiative by the head of sports, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamel, reflects the firm determination to closely monitor the execution of public projects and to guarantee their positive impact on the population. During his brief intervention, the Secretary of State recalled the development of sports in the region. As part of the fight against cat smuggling, the customs of Brigade of PK51, in close collaboration with the Road Gendarmerie Brigade of PK51, intercepted a large quantity of illegal cat in the locality of Kortemale at PK51. During the operation, 49 bundles of card were seized, representing a market value estimated at more than 3 million francs. In accordance with current procedures, the seized goods were immediately destroyed at the PK51 Custom Brigade and the Gendarmerie. The operation was supervised by the head of the Regional Custom Division of Arta, Mr. Yahya Musa Ege, the head of the PK51 Custom Brigade, Mr. Suleiman Hassan Jama', as well as the National Gendarmerie of the Road Brigade. It is essential to emphasize that smuggling represents a serious obstacle to the economic development of our nation. Every citizen, therefore, has a role to play in combating this illegal trade. Ethiopia inaugurated on Tuesday the largest dam in Africa on an official ceremony organized in the capital, Addis Ababa. Designed to boost the economy, the Grand Renaissance Dam will, among other things, put an end to frequent power outages. The nearly $5 billion construction will produce more than 5,000 megawatts and is expected to double nation electricity's production capacity, according to authorities who hope to support the development of electric vehicles after banning the import of gasoline cars. The mega dam is located on a tributary of the Nile in the northwest of the country near the border with Sudan. The event also saw the participation of our President, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Umar Gelle. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed declared during the inauguration of the dam was a great achievement that would show the world what Africans are capable of accomplishing. Dozens of African leaders and heads of states and government attended the event, as many expressed interest in importing electricity from Ethiopia. African leaders and climate activists have called for radical change in global financing for the fight against climate change, urging the world to treat Africa not as a victim of climate change but as a strategic partner for investment. Gathered on Monday in Addis Ababa during the second African Climate Summit, dozens of heads of state and government representatives stressed the urgency of mobilizing resources to finance adaptation and renewable energy projects across the continent. The summit took place against a backdrop of worsening climate disasters in Africa, droughts, floods, and food insecurity, which particularly affect vulnerable communities. Although African countries committed to ambitious renewable energy targets at last year's climate summit, their implementation has been delayed due to limited financing. The Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, will hold a high-level regional meeting in the Haile Grand Hall in the Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, to endorse the creation of the IGAD Center for Fertilizers and Soil Health. This initiative represents a crucial step to combat all degradation, strengthening agricultural productivity, and ensured food security in IGAD countries by providing a regional platform for knowledge exchange, policy coordination, and adaptation of sustainable soil management practices. Shifting gears from Addis Ababa to Doha, where His Highness the Emir of the State of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, performed the funeral prayer in tribute to the martyrs of national duty who fell during the Israeli aggression against the city of Doha. The prayer was held at Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab Mosque in the presence of several members of the royal family, senior state officials, as well as a large number of citizens and residents. Following the burial ceremony at the Mismer ceremony, His Highness the Emir offered his condolences to the families of the martyrs, praying to the Almighty to grant them His mercy and welcome them into His vast gardens of Palestine, paradise. The United Nations Security Council condemned during an extraordinary session held in New York the Israeli attack against the Qatari capital Doha, affirming its full support of Qatar's sovereignty and its key role in mediation efforts to end the war in Gaza. In a statement anonymously adopted by 15 members, the Council expressed its deep regard for the civilian victims and stressed the importance of stopping the escalation as well as protecting ongoing diplomatic initiatives in the region. China, Russia, and Turkey, they announced the attack, considering it that it aimed to sabotage mediation efforts and undermine regional activity. On the 707th day of the war of extermination in Gaza, the Israeli occupation continued its intensive bombings, causing new massacres. A source at Al Shifa Hospital indicated that 14 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli strike targeting the house in Al Tawam area north of Gaza City. Furthermore, hospitals sources in Gaza reported the death of 25 Palestinians under occupation fires since dawn, including 21 in Gaza City in the northern strip. Well, by this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more as usual. Have a wonderful evening, and please take care. Thank you.